Bitcoin hits a new all-time high during my sleep, and all of the crypto nerds in the world are believing, yes, indeed, it is now finally my time. Mine time for a bit of sex whores. And unfortunately, in this morning, we have seen about a 5.5% move to the downside. Bitcoin slicing both ways, volatility back in the markets. We absolutely love it on this channel because we are more or less focused on traders and long-term investors as well. But I do want to be following up on sort of the long-term narrative that we have been having on this channel, because we've been looking at Bitcoin as short-term bullish as long as it is above this red moving average right here. However, with the understanding that there is likely a sharp correction coming in somewhere around the end of this month if one condition is met. We'll go over what that condition is in this video, and if confirmed, which it looks like it very well might be today, what that would effectively imply in terms of price action in this case for a corrective target. Now, I want to again reiterate, because I see a lot of not a lot of comments on this actually. Again, the majority of people on this channel actually pretty solid, in fact. But every once in a while, yes, Bitcoin can correct here and still remain long-term bullish. A correction does not necessarily imply long-term bearishness. Of course, bearishness and bullishness are massively misused terms, to be honest, because they really imply more long-term trends. When you're talking about a 5-minute dildo going up or down, it's not bearish or bullish. It's just a 5-minute move. It doesn't really mean all that much. And in this case, we actually do have something that is almost tangible, again, depending upon today's daily closure. But first things first, let's start it off with some price action statistics. Going over here, we can see that Thursday is actually the most likely day of any weekday to close negatively, which I do think is relevant for today especially. We do see that the average returns for Thursdays for those negative closing Thursdays loses an average about 1.77%. To put that into perspective, that would have created a little bit of a boundary at 120,700, with Bitcoin already trading significantly below that number as of right now. I do think that it is relevant to say that, hey, when we get a bit of an outlier, that's an indication that, hey, something else perhaps is going on. And if something else is going on, in this case, Bitcoin, moving to the upside first and then moving to the downside, closing below that, it does provide the early indication of potentially a short-term reversal. Again, not long-term bearish. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going back down to fucking zero, nothing like this. Okay, relax. You're still going to get some sex whores. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Your altcoins will make you rich, no doubt about it. Anyways, I always wonder what it's like for like a new person on this channel to just join in on a random video and be like, what the fuck is this guy on? What the fuck is this guy talking about? And is he serious? And the answers to all of these questions and more will never be known, in fact. Anyways, yeah, so of course the upside, just for full disclosure, we will go over that target as well. It'd be 125 and 250. I think that's going to be a little bit less likely today. But again, 10 hours, 38 minutes, and 47 seconds left and counting to go. If Bitcoin does close below the bottom of the boundary of the negative returns, again, 120,700, a nice early indication that Bitcoin is putting in a bit of a short-term reversal here and likely to carry on with a bit of a correction. Again, Thursday, the most likely day to close negatively, just like Wednesday we saw yesterday, actually has the highest positive returns, and Bitcoin made a new all-time high. Beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful. Anyways, moving on from there, I do want to get into, of course, the one major signal that we've been following now since Bitcoin essentially reclaimed it, which was way back on Thursday, the 7th of August, or sorry, actually the day before that, which is looking at this red moving average. That's a 5 EMA on the daily time frame. As long as Bitcoin is above it on a daily closing basis, there's no like downside setups that are relevant or threatening an actual move. But as you can see with, again, 10 hours, 38 minutes, and 0 seconds and counting now. Oh my God, it's coming closer. Holy shit. It's off the charts right now. We do see that, yeah, if Bitcoin were to close below that number, which is going to be 119,600 by end of day here, then, yeah, that would be the first tangible signal that, hey, this correction is going to be underway, very, very likely, and there will be targets lower. Again, it's not going to be like one massive just slice down. It's probably going to take another, I would guess, week to 2 weeks, kind of taking us into the end of this month of August. It would be my guess. Again, it's impossible to know the actual timing of these things, but that'd be my best guess. Anyways, to also round out this, and again, if Bitcoin actually finishes the day above there, you're going to hear me say the same thing as before. It's like, look, it's still possible for a correction, but it's just not there, and it's better to be looking for further upside and looking at bullish signals, of which we did have, a few in the early portion of this week. We did see several things, in fact, hidden bullish divergence on some short and medium term timeframes, propelling Bitcoin to new highs. But anyways, moving on from there, there are a few things that suggest that, hey, this really could be it right here. Again, I don't want to front run these things, but this one really does look like it could be it, with Bitcoin first making a slightly new high and then crashing back down super quickly. Anyways, I want to acknowledge that over here on the daily time frame for both CME and spot price action, there is 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence here forming on the daily RSI between this high coming in from this 22nd of May, this high more recently from the 14th of July, and then this most recent high from last night. And by the way, on CME, the daily close happens a little bit earlier, so this one would also effectively confirm it would confirm the move as well. In fact, CME signals are typically better, meaning that they are more efficacious. This one will close in 7 hours, 46 minutes, and 9 seconds and counting, so a little bit earlier there. But again, if it does close below both the red EMA, we will see not only that condition met, but also bearish divergence over here confirmed, and also the daily RSI losing the exponential moving average. Again, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to the fucking, dirt or anything like this, but, some downside would likely be occurring. Now, on top of this, if we go ahead and reference stochastic momentum over here, we can see the daily time frame is going to be threatening, bearish divergence on the daily stochastic oscillator, which I typically don't care too much about, but 2, the daily stochastic oscillator would also naturally turn down if Bitcoin does finish the day below 119,200. I'm curious what the same number is for CME. Let's just go check really quickly. And that number is going to be 119, which is actually above right now. So fair enough. But if we get all of those things working in the same direction, Bitcoin closing below the 5 EMA, Bitcoin confirming that regular bearish divergence, Bitcoin closing below the daily EMA on the RSI, Bitcoin also seeing daily stochastic momentum turning down all simultaneously, that's, in my opinion, a very, 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 very strong signal that we will see these corrective targets play out before another real try to the upside. And for a short-term target that would be confirmed if those conditions are met, I'd be looking over here at the weekly HPDR, which if again those things happen, the median is going to be a very obvious magnet for price action. That's at 115,700. So, again, that would be a nice area of interest for the short term, I suppose. I do think Bitcoin could go a little bit lower. The reason why I say that is due to the same setup that I brought up many times here now over the past couple weeks. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but, I think it's just more or less a misunderstanding of what these setups mean. Again, these setups are not to be played in the exact way that they are actually showing on the screen here. This is for general directional analysis for YouTube. If you play these straight up, actually it would be profitable, to be fair. Here are the results down here. I wouldn't do it personally. I think that is highly, highly, highly unoptimized. But again, here is a setup. Whenever we see throughout this whole bull market that red moving average crossing the downside of the yellow moving average, there has been a nice correction down to the green moving average at minimum. I'll show you an example from the last iteration that we saw, which was right here. We saw the cross happen right here. Boom, Bitcoin pops up and then come back down a little bit later. Again, if you would have played this, taking the short right there, it wouldn't even been profitable. So again, this is not like if you play these at your own peril. Hope that I've been super, super clear with stating this. Same shit over here as well. Bitcoin fires off the signal, and then about 3 weeks later, we see Bitcoin come down to that green moving average, and then once again to the upside. And then, of course, we've seen many in between, but these are the ones that have been failures, which I believe this one will be as well. It's not going to, I highly doubt it's going to be profitable by the time it closes. But just showing, a proof of concept. Same shit over here as well. About 3 weeks later, we do see this one hit after getting that cross. And there was rally in betweens. Now, this one is uncharacteristic compared to the past ones, just because Bitcoin did make a new high here, which is different. So that would be a really good counterpoint to everything that I'm saying, and why I really want to stress the importance of Bitcoin actually closing below some of those critical areas that we spoke about earlier. Because without those, Bitcoin can continue to float up, and that's the trend, and the trend is your friend right now. But yeah, as of right now, that green moving average, again, it's probably not going to happen this week. If it's going to happen, it's probably going to be late next week. But that green moving average for reference is about just under 113. I imagine by next week or the back half of this month, it'll come closer to whatever the lows were from earlier this month at around 114 for CME. For spot price action, that's closer to 112, right? But anywhere around there, give or take a little bit from that number. But again, that would be a minimum target. And if we do measure out the failures, which again, this one's very likely going to be a failure, then we can see that on average this has taken about 3 weeks. This one over here took 18 days to reach its target. This one over here actually was a profitable one, but I'd say barely. This one taking 21 days, and the other one that's kind of similar to our current iteration, because it didn't just slice down immediately, was 19 days. So all around about 3 weeks. And this one again fired off very early August. So if we're going with that time frame again, about 3 weeks out, that puts us in like the last week of August, actually. So somewhere right around here. So there's going to be ebbs and flows along the way, meaning that there's going to be bounces, and whatnot. But ultimately, if those initial signals do get confirmed, I think that this really is the opportunity for Bitcoin to put in one of those more in sideways corrections, and just eat up time. And that's fine. Again, I do believe that this sets things up later. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin has put in the all-time high just yet. Well, I mean, that was a lot easier of a statement to say when we had this high over here. This one over here, a little bit more threatening, I guess. But anyways, I actually still do not believe that. I still think that Bitcoin, probably has at least one more major try to the upside. But that, would require a more prolonged consolidation. Again, prolonged consolidations provide a nice base to launch higher from in a more healthy manner that effectively makes a long-term rally more possible. So in this case, again, if you're bullish, in my opinion, you actually kind of want to see something like that. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but that's just my personal opinion. Take that as you will. Take it, for nothing at all. But again, I want to reiterate at the very end of this video that, hey, okay, when we're looking at this, until Bitcoin actually confirms these closures below at minimum that red moving average, again, which is currently about on CME about let's just call it 120. On spot price action, it is, let's just see, it's like 119.5. Double check though. Yeah, 119.530. Until Bitcoin actually does that, it is still bullish. It's still bullish and actually in trending motion. I'm just looking at all these signals kind of coalescing at the same time, and you can see how one domino leads to the next, and how this puzzle evolves, which really is why I continue to do these videos, man, because I fucking love the puzzle. I love the puzzle, man. It's a never-ending puzzle. It's a never-ending fucking puzzle, and it's impossible to be perfect at it, which makes it very, very engaging, at least for myself. Maybe there are some people who are perfect out there. It's definitely the people who are loudest in the comments as well. Anyways, yeah, I think that pretty much does it for this particular video. Again, a little bit of volatility after Bitcoin hits new all-time highs. And I do want to make a quick announcement here again for the people who are true crypto nerds staying to the end of these videos. I figured these are the people who actually this is appropriate for, but I'm going to be massively overhauling this program right here, the Trade Like a Quant program, by adding significant amounts of content. Now, this is right now an informational program, and it is focused on quantitative analysis and quantitative trading strategies. It will retain all of those contents. However, it will add content basically on every other thing that I know about trading and long-term investing, and everything that I'm going to learn in the future as well. If you had the original TA program, don't worry, we're not going to screw you over with this or nothing like that. I don't like people paying twice for the same damn thing. We will give you a discount. But right now, it is the lowest price for everyone that it ever will be. And on September 1st, I will initiate all of those updates with the new content, and the price will about double. It might just even straight up double. But I'll be adding content on options trading. I'll be adding content, of course, on regular classical TA, because I realize people fucking love that shit, which is good. I mean, it's certainly useful. And also be adding content regarding mindset, and then also I'll be adding my future revelations on long-term trading long-term investing as I get more and more involved in that. And yes, it actually does come with an AI chatbot that is more or less a fucking mini Crown. In a way, sometimes it gets things wrong, but I'm still working on it. And, the more that I work on it, the better it gets. And the better it gets is really just by people actually using it. Because I can actually see what it's suggesting to people. Anyways, go back to Bitcoin over here for a quick second. You can see that bearish divergence is starting to actually populate on Caretaker's RSI now. And that is because it's below that last low. Needs to see really a closure below there. But, for the more aggressive people out there, again, I'm not your fucking dad. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But, more aggressive people might be interested in front running such things. Again, that is up to you. Anyways, I'm going to be signing off on that note. As always, I'm going to wish everyone the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow for perhaps yet another live stream. Very exciting, very, very fun. Been having some good times, and yeah, take care.